For those of you who don't know Dr. Gail, she's a retired anesthesiologist, almost 30 years in the industry, and now she has an interest in natural health solutions and nutrigenomic. Let's just dive in. One of the first questions I hear is, how is our mind-body GLP-1 activator different from the synthetics that the pharmaceutical companies promote?
A lot of people will be familiar with the things like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. Now, they are GLP-1 mimics. They pretend GLP-1. And people, if you don't know what GLP-1 is, it's a hormone that we produce naturally in our bodies, actually in our intestines. And we've got little receptors all over the body where that GLP-1 acts. Now, the synthetic or the Wegovys, Ozempics, what they do is they target those receptors and they hit those receptors in a big dose, which is why you have to have it as an injection and why you have to have it as an increasing dose, because receptors say, hey, this sort of looks like GLP-1, but not quite sure. Perhaps we should just do the GLP-1 things, which is what happens. What does that do? It switches off your natural GLP-1 production. So your cells say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to make GLP-1 because I'm already getting it. It's like if you give your kids an allowance. You know, if you give them expect nothing, they want more and do less. But if you give them the attitude to work for their money, they will keep working and they will get more and more and more. So a GLP-1 is a very special hormone within the body. And if you look at our medical articles at the moment, it is getting huge press, not just in the weight loss arena, not just in diabetes, but cardiovascular, respiratory, neurovascular, kidneys, the whole thing. Now, the difference between something that mimics GLP-1, like these synthetics, because they're not GLP-1, and our mind-body, is that our mind-body increases the production, increases your own production of GLP-1 from those L cells, okay? So you're actually making your own GLP-1. You're not taking it, you're not getting a big blast and getting the receptors hammered, you're making it. Mm-hmm. You're also increasing what we call the gut microbiome, so it makes the L cells much more in tune for making more. They love that lovely microbiome in the gut, and so they make more. But not only that, you know, I feel like an infomercial. Not only that, what happens is that the receptors are much more receptive when we've got the mind body. The receptors function better, and it's not broken down as much. It increases the enzymes that stop the breakdown of GLP-1. So you've got more GLP-1 associated in the body. So here we are, we're making GLP-1 in our bodies. We're not just taking it. And that is why we see so many side effects with these synthetics. You know, and so I can talk about this forever, but hopefully that's just a little bit of an overview of what the difference really is between the two of them.
Yeah. So on that note with the synthetics, we hear that there is a lot of side effects that people have, right? And a lot of them are quite awful. So tell us maybe the difference between the Mind Body, our product, which activates side effects, versus the synthetic side effects.
Yeah, we're seeing more and more side effects with the synthetics. I mean, they're modifying them constantly to try and decrease those side effects. Most people will get nausea, vomiting. They can get a thing, what we call gastric paresis, which when the stomach doesn't empty because the GLP-1 slows down stomach emptying. But sometimes after you've taken synthetics, the stomach decides not to work anymore. And that is a really big side effect. And that's not including things like your pancreas, pancreatitis, vision disturbances. All of these things are now coming out of the woodwork. But the biggie for me with synthetics is muscle loss. And do you know why that's a biggie? Muscle loss with synthetics, it decreases your metabolism. And do you know what happens when you decrease your metabolism? You gain weight. You get hormonal imbalance, okay? You get more stress, you get more oxidative stress. Your bones get weaker. Mm-hmm. So muscle loss is huge. Now, the difference with Mind Body is we have had none of those side effects. No nausea, no vomiting, no problems with gastric paresis. Yeah. And also no muscle loss. Zero. And that's an actual fact. When people have been on Mind Body, they say that their muscles are stronger. And when you look at the science, because I wouldn't be here if the science wasn't robust, our Mind Body GLP-1 does is it pushes glucose into the muscles so that the muscles can grow and they can get bigger and they can get stronger. And we're having reports again and again that people have got muscle growth with our mind body, natural GLP-1. We're naturally stimulating the GLP-1 in our body to be able to work where it's meant to work all over the body, not just weight loss, it's all over the body.
Yes.
Love it.
With effects, going back, you kind of touched on this, but just the long-term effects of synthetic or mind body, is there anything you'd want to share in that area?
Yeah, I want to talk about the transition between, if people are on the synthetics like Ozempic and they want to transition over to this, they've got to understand that the body has shut down in terms of its production. So the factory has closed its doors, it's not producing GLP-1 anymore, and the receptors are really tired because they've been hit again and again and again with increasing doses. They don't want to work properly anymore. You know, they just don't want to do it. So when you are transitioning, it's really important to understand that your journey is going to be longer. Your journey is going to be longer because you are starting from less than baseline. You're starting from a place where you actually have to get your gut microbiome to be able to get those L cells that make the GLP-1, get them ready to bang those receptors again. So long term, you know, I always say cell health is self-help. And when you look at the nutrigenomic products which work at the cell, and the cell is one of the smallest places of our body, and that creates organs, tissues, the whole thing. If you have got healthy cells, then you will have a healthy body. And if you can do that in several different ways with like our NRF2 to decrease oxidative stress, to increase mitochondrial function with their NRF1, to increase your NAD with our NAD product, you know, you have started to get optimal health because you're getting your cells in the best possible condition they are. This is what you're going to have for health forever. And that's why I love the mind body. It slips in very nicely into the body. The body's really complex. It's really, really complex. So we have to have a whole lot of different pathways to support it. And the nutrigenomic approach is doing that because it's getting your body to do its own work every single day. That's what I love. Naturally. And it's not drugs, and it's not, you know, and it's natural feedback. I love it.
Yes, yes, I love it too. Okay, so on that note, with quickly, how quickly would you say that this works for people? Because we know synthetics can have a faster, perhaps, response in the body, but tell me a little bit about what people should expect.
You know, a lot of medical drugs are Band-Aid treatment. They suppress the symptoms or they create a response which is very quick. When you're asking the body to do something naturally, when you're asking the body to get up and function again, number one, it depends on how old you are. Number two, it depends on how much damage you've done to your body. What have you abused your body? What have you been exposed to? You talked about the toxins in our environment, the toxins that we ingest. You've got to actually understand that people are all starting from a different base. So I say to people, if they are studying the mind body, do not expect overnight results. Because of the way that we're getting the body to get up and functioning again. The first month is just feeling into it, getting rid of a bit of the rubbish, getting those L cells waking up, making the gut microbiome just a little bit, hang on, let's do some adjustments here. The second month, they'll start to work a little bit better. And I would say to people, you've got to give us 3 months at absolute minimum, and a lot more if you have been on synthetics, to be able to get it up and functioning. But the beauty is, long term, this is the best for your body. This is healing from the inside out, not the outside in.
Yes, it's beautiful. So beautiful. Okay, one last question. Thank you again. I so appreciate this. How about rebalancing hormones? How would you recommend, or what would you say speak to that?
So we talked before about the decrease in metabolism, and what that does is increase weight loss, and it also increases oxidative stress. Now, if you can combine something that reduces oxidative stress and balance your hormones with GLP-1, then you will stop that hormonal imbalance. So we're doing a double-edged sword here. NRF2 to decrease oxidative stress and the GLP-1 to balance the hormones. And that's when you start to get the weight loss. And that's what I'm telling everybody. They need to be on both, because oxidative stress is it's everywhere, and it's ubiquitous in our environment these days.
Yes. And our company released the synergistic study of these products combined, and how it actually activates 22 more gene pathways, I think 9 fat burning pathways. When we saw that study, I got so excited. Now we have the science backing it.
And that's why I'm here. I have to have product-specific scientific validation. It's not the specific ingredients, it is the product that has been studied. And when they have a synergism of all of these working together, as a scientist, I mean, we just get so excited. It's just marvelous. I love it.